Hello, YouTube. Hello, everyone. Now, slight change of plan because I'm going to be quite busy, and I've decided, I think, as much as in the case of this episode, I already know that I love this episode. This episode is the Jesus of Doctor Who episodes. This is the resurrection of Doctor Who, even if it did take almost half a season. But this is the one I'm in love with, and I'm once again joined by hello, James.
Hello there, this is James S. Croft, Ujames 1978.
And basically, so we are yet to watch the episode Time Heist together, and James at this point knows nothing about this episode other than the fact that I love this episode and I want to have its babies. Now, James may not have especially high expectations because he wasn't keen on Deep Breath. He knows what I think of the 45 minutes of Moffat ejaculating directly into the camera lens. Let's not even think about that.
Just to confirm, this one, Time Heist, wasn't actually written by Moffat.
Moffat is credited as contributing something to the writing, but you'd be pleased to know you wouldn't know it from watching it.
Right. So already a tick in the plus column.
Indeed. So I guess that's it then. And without further ado, we journey in to Time Heist. Okay, so now we've finished watching the episode which I've called The Salvation of Doctor Who. I have seriously, I have the warm afterglow of oh my god, it was an unorthodox approach to a story, but they told a story. I'm satisfied by the villain, and I bought into the characters. I felt that, this is, I want to give this a big warm hug and say, hello, Doctor Who. I'm sensing that you, James, don't quite share that view.
This is the salvation of Doctor Who. This is the greatest episode of the new era. You're actually comparing this to things like the Dalek Master Plan or Marco Polo, the Aztecs, the War Games in the Troughton era, Genesis of the Daleks, Battlefield. What the fuck? This is rip-off of Ocean's 11 with rip-off of Mystique/Rogue from X-Men with rip-off of Johnny Mnemonic. Who the fuck didn't guess that the Doctor was the architect? Who the fuck didn't guess that the chained-up Mind Wiper, instead of being the villain, was actually the victim? Who the fuck didn't see that whatever her name was simply Madame Kavarian Mark 342. She actually described herself as Madame whatever her name was when she was dying. And oh yes, it's a Moffat script, so death is just a temporary condition unless it's old age. Blink, now this. The only way people ever stay bloody dead is through old age. All their noble sacrifices wiped clean, all of the emotional impacts, not that there was much to begin with, gone. Okay, it wasn't bad. It wasn't offensive. It didn't make me scream, Moffat! But, yes, this is the greatest episode of Season 8 so far. I was going to say, if I'd if this is the best, I'd hate to see the worst, but no, we are not watching Listen or Robots of Sherwood. If you did force me to watch them, I'd have to kill you. But they're.
I wouldn't force myself to watch Listen.
Yes, that's on the Hague list, is it? If I'm ever indicted for crimes against humanity, along with David Hasselhoff in the Jekyll and Hyde musical.
Yes, and I am watching you.
But again, I was literally going through, how many films have you ripped off here? And as I say, recycling Madame Kavarian. Yes, the fact that it was in chains and imprisoned, and the way the teller I'm talking about here, obviously, the way that it groaned when the security clone talked about how they had an exclusive contract, Yes, it was obviously being kept there against its will, etc., etc., etc. And you gave Deep Breath 8 out of 10. You gave this 10 out of 10. You've described it as the salvation of Doctor Who. It just goes to show how vast the chasm is between us at the end of the day. Oh, and also the fact that the teller species is now extinct because even though the couple are back together, 2 individuals is not enough genetic diversity to maintain a population. So they're both free, but the species is dead. Just burst that little bubble there.
That thought did occur to me, but that could only apply to Terran species. That could be very Earth-centric of you.
Oh, I must check my privilege.
Yes! They don't have DNA. They could work in a completely different way. You don't know how they reproduce.
Although I was thinking when they opened the vault, it would be a seed bank, a batch of eggs, something like that.
Okay.
But no, that wouldn't have been as romantic. You couldn't have the 2 of them holding hands and mooing like something from a Star Wars movie. As they walk off into the... it's amazing how many meadows there are in the universe. You would have thought grass would be a purely Terran thing, but apparently not.
But anyway, to say it's a rip-off of Ocean's 11, well, it's a heist movie, and heist is in the title, so I don't think that's a valid point.
As I say, the augmented character, it's not necessarily a rip-off of, but you can...
Oh, right, okay, I haven't seen Ocean's 11, and I haven't seen any of the X-Men films. I know nothing of X-Men, so I can't comment on the comparisons that you've made, to be honest.
Mystique is a mutant who can change herself to look like anyone else, and Rogue is a mutant who can't touch anyone without killing them.
Right, okay.
Or without draining their energy, should I say. Usually causing unconsciousness, coma, but if she touches them. So it's just a blending of those 2. And Johnny Mnemonic, Keanu Reeves movie, an augmented human who, in order to have the computer installed in his brain, the computer memory, had to... quote, dump a chunk of his own long-term memory, specifically his childhood. So the whole point of the movie is that his redemption is that he gets his childhood back. So it's not a direct rip-off, but you can see the copy paste. The
Maybe,
influences, the homage.
that's quite possible. Though with science fiction, obviously you're mining from so many things. I mean, some things just become tenets of a genre like science fiction. But okay, obviously, I can't. I can't. Well, you can never really say because I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen everything everyone's ever done. So.
Yeah. I almost have, but I've still got to cut. No, obviously.
But yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm a bit stumped for words now. Well, as ever, you haven't disappointed, James.
Yeah.
But what did it do right? It told a story, and to be honest, it told a story and gave me a villain. I'm not asking that much from these people. Where I suppose it's like, oh, okay, well done. Well, actually, no, Deep Breath did that, to be fair. And actually, Robot of Sherwood, Ben Miller, gave us a very good Sheriff of Nottingham. So there was a villain. Not sure about there being a story. That they took a different approach. Because I did genuinely find it disorienting. They touched the phone and then suddenly they're in a new location. The Time Worm, by the way, was introduced, has been in at least one earlier story. Sorry, Memory Worm, I apologise. So yeah, it's a new Doctor Who canon, the Memory Worm exists. I don't know, what can I say? I mean, perhaps all it really comes down to is, did you enjoy it or not?
To me, basically, it's like the passable, watchable episodes of Blake Seventh. The problem is, I need impact. I need depth. The closest thing this episode had to any kind of real emotional impact for me was the apparent deaths of the other two people. But no, this is the Moffat universe. It's impossible to die of anything other than old age.
But this episode did have emotional impact at its core. The Doctor was right. The whole point was, one day you will regret being...
Oh, the little motivational poster kind of the word of the day, quote of the day, fortune cookie philosophy was scattered like breadcrumbs throughout the episode. You know, where is the actual depth? Where is the delving into the core of the core of the soul, which hasn't been explored in at least 10,000 other programs? Again, this is the problem with it being a 42-minute episode, or however long it is. You know, just everything crammed in. If it was a serial, if we got to explore the characters, etc. But no, Moffat has done away with two-parters, because if people don't like part one, they don't tune in for part two. Well, make sure they like part one then!
Yeah, that is a very disappointing thing for him to have said, given that his first Doctor Who serial was so strong. Which of course is
but you see,
the Empty Child.
That would involve him actually putting effort into script and spending his time writing, instead of going from convention to convention and being sucked off by his echo chamber fanboys.
Okay, well, do you at least agree it's an improvement?
It's impossible for anything to have been worse than some of the rubbish I've seen and heard about recently regarding Doctor Who. It's solid. As it does what it says on the tin. It's 45 minutes of entertainment for the whole family, something that you don't have to think too much about. It's not going to change anyone's life. This time next year, aside from hardcore Whovians, no one's going to remember it, but that's irrelevant. It's got the ratings, it's got the views. People are going to tweet saying, yes, this was the greatest episode ever, until the next greatest episode ever. As I say, if Moffat wasn't so congenitally opposed to serials or two-parters, if there was more time to explore the two other bank-robbing characters, to really delve into who they are, aside from a quick, sympathy-inducing monologue and as I say, a bit of fortune cookie philosophy just scattered in to make it sound deep and philosophical, just in case anybody actually cares about that sort of thing. And more importantly, if we'd learned more about the species, the tellers. Also, yes, as I say, for me, the ending, they changed it to a couple because that looks more romantic. No, as I say, that's ruined by the fact that their species is dead. If they'd opened the vault and it was, as I predicted, fertilized eggs or a gene bank, that this one survivor of the species had been the guardian of the gene bank to travel into a new planet when it had been captured and forced to work as a slave, wiping people's minds. With the future of its species being literally held hostage. To guarantee, and again, why couldn't they have this new species, the rebirth of a species? Oh, that's not romantic enough. It's not poetic enough. It wouldn't tug the heartstrings of people who are used to seeing the walking into the sunsets cliche. But why are your standards so high, James? It's not my fault. Everyone else's standards are too low.
Right.
So, again, not a bad episode in any way, shape, form or fashion. There was nothing wrong with it. But to claim that... If this is the salvation of Season 8 and of Doctor Who in general, then it must have been even worse than I thought.
Brave words indeed.
Seriously, how bad do things have to be for this to be the salvation?
Well, look, I enjoyed it because I did, and listen sucks big fucking donkey balls. And whatever people say about Robot of Sherwood, it made no sense. And Into the Dalek, bit too much rehash. I am still defending Deep Breath, but Deep Breath was a big movie. It's a different thing. That's what I would say. And I have no idea what we're getting next week, by the looks of it, more relationship, dating bollocks with Clara and Danny, so fuck knows. It's getting late into the night, and I'm a tiny bit tipsy. You can't tell, can you?
Oh, I never would have noticed as you hadn't mentioned it first.
There you go. Ah, fuck it. Well, there you go. Well, people, tell us in the description what you thought of Time Heist. Not the description, the comment section, what you thought of Time Heist. I thought it was awesome. I enjoyed it. Loving Keely Hawes' villainy. You know what the weird thing is? When she came on, I wasn't thinking Madame Kavarian Mark II. I was worried that you were going to go, oh, they've recast Servalan.
Well, no, that is a point. Madame Kavarian was just another copy, as I say. Blake 7, they just Blake 7. I can just imagine Moffat watching the series and taking notes. Ah, yes, this is how you destroy a TV series. But anyway, Alex, I think it's just time for you to say good night, YouTube. Good night, everyone.
Well, you've just said it for me, so